MC Hammer, Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him. Never heard it. In 1990, there were only two West Coast artists that I was interested in, Ice Cube and Digital Underground, and neither one of them were fans of MC Hammer. Now don't get me wrong, in 1988 I was a huge fan, but it was the 90s. It's time for me to grow up. In 1990, hip-hop was entering a different phase where even the veterans of the 80s were starting to put out albums with a harder edge. MC Hammer has more in common with CNC Music Factory than he does with popular hip-hop of 1990. But this album was the first rap album to ever go diamond, so that in and of itself makes it a classic, right? So I'm just going to say right now that I did not enjoy this album. After listening to this album, I went back and listened to his previous album, Let's Get It Started, and I enjoyed that album much more. It sounded more fun, it sounded hungrier, it sounded like Oakland, even though he did seem to be biting a lot from LL Cool J, Run DMC, and even Public Enemy. Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him sounds cleaner and more manufactured. I mean, there's hardly a song where he's actually rapping for a full 16 bars. Every song basically follows the formula of 8-bar verse, 8-bar pre-chorus, 8-bar chorus, 8-bar breakdown, and then repeat the chorus until the end of the song. And if you're a fan of hip hop, you have to be a fan of sampling, but the sampling on this album is egregious. There are 7 songs on this 13-track album where the sampling is so heavy that it's pretty much an album of covers. The first 3 songs on this album are singles, so I'm pretty familiar with them, as I'm sure the rest of the world is. But by the time I got to Have You Seen Her, I almost turned the album off. This was the second single after You Can't Touch This, and this is probably why I kind of cooled on Hammer after 1990. I didn't like this song back then, and I really don't like it now. And then I got to Your Sweetness, and I had to stop. I think my problem with Hammer is that I can listen to him talk about pretty much any topic except women. When he talks about women, it comes off corny at best, and at worst, it's just gross. Crime Story sees Hammer and Too Big MC living that street life. It features 4 verses, and the first and the third verse show them getting away with the crime, and the second and fourth verse show them getting their comeuppance, which is a song structure I don't think I've ever heard before, so kudos for that. In the song, Hammer doesn't come down on the people in the streets doing what they have to do. He just asks that they leave the kids alone. Which is pretty decent. So remember earlier when I said that hearing Hammer talk about sex was gross? 3 words: soft and wet. The remainder of the album, Black is Black, Let's Go Deeper, and Work This, are songs where the sampling isn't as heavy and consequently are also the weakest songs on the album. Like I said before, this is the first rap album to go diamond, and that puts it in the history books, but I'm kind of at a loss as to why. I mean, sure, it was radio friendly, but so were Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. I mean, Kid and Play had a Saturday morning cartoon before Hammer. You could say that it's because white people liked it, but white people liked the Beastie Boys too, and it took them almost 30 years to go diamond. This album went diamond in 14 months. There's only a handful of rap albums that have even gone diamond, and most of them went diamond in the 2000s, where everybody was selling records. How did this happen in 1990? Maybe it's because he had a record label that really believed in him. I mean, they spent $1 million on a music video, and no other rapper was getting that kind of attention. Or maybe it's because this is mostly a covers album of popular songs that people already knew, which kind of puts it in the same category as Kidz Bop. But I don't think those albums ever went diamond either. However he did it, and that's all that matters, and you gotta respect that. No. So have you heard Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him? Do you still bump it to this day? I'm going to keep reviewing albums until I run out. Until then, my name is Free Tillman, the only guy on the internet that doesn't know everything. Peace.